In the region of Białowieża, a group of over 100 migrants, with the help of Belarusian services, made an attempt to force through the border again today. Some of the migrants were successful in breaking into Polish territory, but thanks to the effective response of Polish officers, they were arrested and then expelled. 2 Polish soldiers suffered injuries in the clashes. Migrants were transported to the border by trucks operated by the Belarusian services onto the wire fences in order to lower them as much as possible. Platforms were thrown, which were then used by migrants to try to cross to the other side. Towards the Polish services, stones were thrown, and since it was dark, lasers were used as well as stroboscopic lights in order to obstruct our efforts. In the last 24 hours, 206 attempts were made to illegally cross the Polish-Belarusian border.
Stranded in Cape Town, hundreds of passengers are now facing flight cancellations as travel corridors slam shut on South Africa. A growing list of countries have banned travel to affected regions as the new Omicron coronavirus variant advances. However, South Africa's health minister says the new restrictions are unjustified.
That's why we are saying that the reaction of some of countries in terms of imposing travel bans and such measures are completely against the norms and standards as guided by the World Health Organization. Many of the countries which have come with this kind of draconian reaction are themselves battling with a fourth wave.
Traffic brought to a standstill on several roads in Serbia's capital. Demonstrators are protesting new laws they say favor the interests of foreign mining companies and damage the environment. The outrage comes as mining company Rio Tinto plans to extract lithium in Serbia, which is widely used in electric car batteries. Critics say the project will lead to pollution and drain the country's natural resources. Anger is also fueled by a recent referendum. It allows private property to be purchased by the state in about a week if the land is considered to be in the public interest. It's a move opponents say is designed to take over land that benefits mining companies.
There's anger in Burkina Faso. This was supposed to be a peaceful protest in support of security forces and against a president who's been unable to stop a wave of attacks by armed groups affiliated with ISIL and Al-Qaeda. They shout, "We want President Kabore to resign." The government has lost control of border areas in the north and east, forcing millions of people, mostly children and teenagers, to flee the violence. "Free Burkina Faso," they chant. Police fire tear gas in response. An attack by armed groups on a police outpost in Inata earlier this month killed dozens of people, sparking nationwide outrage after it was revealed the officers had gone 2 weeks on the front line without food rations, forcing them to hunt to survive. Not a single government official was present at their funeral.
Chinese lenders have rejected Uganda's request to renegotiate a toxic clause in the $207 million loan used to expand the airport in the capital. Uganda has defaulted on debt repayment, triggering a takeover from lender Export-Import Bank from China. The loan was contracted in November 2015, and at the time the Ugandan government waived international immunity, exposing the airport to a future takeover without international protection. Entebbe International Airport is Uganda's only international airport and handles over 1.9 million passengers per year.
Members of agriculture trade unions took to the streets to protest a shipment of organic fertilizer ordered by Sri Lanka from a Chinese company. Sri Lanka's National Plant Quarantine Service, or NPQS, refused to allow the ship carrying 20,000 tons of organic fertilizer to enter Colombo port and unload its cargo after it said it found harmful disease-causing bacteria in both samples provided for testing. The Chinese manufacturer Qingdao Seawind Biotech and the Chinese embassy in Colombo rejected the findings.
Now, the Russian President Vladimir Putin's apparent obsession with Ukraine has brought in a new Cold War-like situation. Russia's increasing military build-up along the Ukrainian border and also the latter's repeated warning of a possible retaliation has triggered fears of a possible full-fledged conflict in the region. With tensions escalating with each passing day, Ukraine's military has now said that it is ready to repel any kind of attack from the Russian forces who seem to have built up in pretty large numbers along the border with Ukraine. Earlier, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky had claimed that Russian representatives were in fact planning to overthrow his government. As the Russian military built-up near the border with Ukraine has sparked fears of a possible invasion of Ukraine by Russia by as early as January next year.